You ever notice how some people move through life like they're plugged into a different energy source? Almost like they operate on a frequency the rest of the world can't even detect? If you've ever wondered why your focus feels scattered, why your mind jumps from thought to thought like it's trying to escape itself, then listen closely, because you didn't click this video by accident. There's an underground method, a way of training your mind that almost no one talks about. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your own attention the same way again. Right now, you're closer than you realize to unlocking a level of concentration most people will never experience in their lifetime. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tap into it. Stay with me. This gets deeper. The truth is, your focus isn't dying because you're lazy or unmotivated. It's dying because the world is engineered to fracture your attention into 1,000 tiny pieces. Every notification, every flashing icon, every buzz, ping, and swipe is pulling you away from the life you're supposed to be building. And the scary part? It's happening so quietly that you don't even realize how much of your potential is leaking out every single day. You start something with good intentions, and minutes later, you're scrolling, drifting, forgetting what you were supposed to do in the first place. It's not harmless. It's not normal. This is how dreams die, slowly, invisibly, one distraction at a time. But here's where the pressure tightens. The world isn't slowing down for you. Every moment you lose to distraction, someone else, someone hungrier, someone more disciplined, is using it to get ahead. That's why most people never reach their goals. It's not a lack of talent. It's not bad luck. It's attention, stolen, shredded, wasted. And unless you learn how to break this cycle, you'll look back one day and wonder how many years you lost to things that never mattered. Stay with me, because the real enemy is even more dangerous than you think. But here's the part almost nobody sees. The enemy isn't out there. It's not your phone, your apps, or your environment. It's the silent habits you've built without even realizing it. Tiny dopamine hits you trained your brain to crave. Checking messages the moment you wake up, bouncing between tabs because your mind can't sit still for more than 10 seconds, rewarding yourself with distraction the moment something feels uncomfortable. These microscopic behaviors carve deep grooves in your brain, grooves that pull you back into chaos every time you try to focus. And the danger is how invisible it all feels. You think you're taking a small break, but your brain is learning to escape hard things instantly. You think you're just checking something quickly, but your mind is becoming addicted to constantly switching tasks. The hidden enemy is inside your routines, disguised as harmless behavior. It's shaping the way you think, the way you work, the way you live, without ever asking for permission. And until you expose it, it will keep you stuck, unfocused, and restless. But here's the twist. Once you uncover this enemy, once you understand what it feeds on, you can starve it. You can reclaim your mind. And that's where the underground method begins.
There's a reason only a small percentage of people ever break free from this cycle of distraction, because the solution isn't obvious. It's not another productivity hack, not some fancy app, not a morning routine copied from a billionaire. The real method is something deeper, something older, something the world quietly stopped teaching the moment everything became fast, loud, and overstimulated. It's the way high performers, elite thinkers, and the people who seem superhuman in their focus operate, almost like they've tapped into a mental vault the rest of us forgot existed. I'm not revealing it just yet, because if I drop it too early, your mind will treat it like just another piece of information, another thing to forget. You need to feel the weight of what's stealing your potential before you learn how to break free. But understand this, once you learn this underground method, your brain won't work the same way again. Tasks that used to drain you will become effortless. Distractions that used to control you will lose their power, and your focus, it'll stop being a struggle and start becoming a weapon. Stay with me, because the stakes are about to get even higher. Here's the part most people avoid facing. The cost of distraction isn't small. It's not just wasting time. It's something far more dangerous. Every time you lose focus, you lose momentum. And momentum is the one thing separating the people who rise from the people who stay stuck. You lose the chance to build skills. You lose the chance to create opportunities. You lose the chance to become the version of yourself you know you're capable of being. And the worst part, you don't feel the damage immediately. It builds slowly, silently, like rust eating away at a machine that once had potential. Think about it. How many goals have you postponed until later? How many ideas, dreams, plans have you convinced yourself you'll get to when the time is right? Meanwhile, years pass. Not dramatically, not all at once, one distracted afternoon at a time. This is how people wake up at 30, 40, 50, wondering why life feels like it slipped through their fingers. And here's the fear most people try to ignore. Distraction doesn't just steal your time, it steals your identity. It turns you into someone who reacts instead of leads, someone who drifts instead of directs, someone who watches life happen instead of shaping it. But you're here, right now, listening. And that tells me one thing. You're not someone who wants to watch potential evaporate. You're here because you're ready to take control back. And the method you're about to learn, it's the turning point.
So here it is, the moment everything shifts. The underground method isn't about pushing harder, trying longer, or forcing yourself to just focus. That's what everyone else does, and that's exactly why they fail. The real method is single-channel immersion. One input, one task, one mental channel, locked, sealed, protected. It's the discipline of eliminating every competing signal until your brain has no choice but to go deep. Because the human mind was never built to juggle, it was built to conquer one thing at a time. This is the method ancient scholars used. This is how top athletes train. This is how elite thinkers create at a level the world calls superhuman. They don't rely on motivation. They don't rely on inspiration. They rely on environmental dominance, structuring their world so only one thing exists in front of them. No switching, no checking, no hopping between tasks. Just immersion so total that the brain enters a state where effort fades and clarity sharpens. And here's the part that will surprise you. Your brain craves this. It's starving for deep, uninterrupted focus, the kind that makes hours feel like minutes, the kind that creates results in weeks that others struggle for years to achieve. The underground method works not because it's extreme, but because it's natural. You only forgot it because the world replaced depth with noise. But once you bring your mind back into this single-channel mode, distraction loses its grip, your work becomes cleaner, your thoughts become sharper, your potential starts waking up. And this is just the beginning, because now you're about to learn how to actually apply it. So let's make this real. Here's the first layer, the entry point into single-channel immersion, the part anyone can start today. You begin by choosing one task that actually matters, not 10 little chores, not random busy work. One thing, the thing that moves your life forward. Then you create a micro environment for that task. No notifications, no open tabs, no background noise pulling your attention sideways. Just a clean, quiet lane for your mind to run in. Set a short, decisive window, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, no more. Because the goal isn't perfection, it's training your brain to stay in one lane again. When you feel the urge to check your phone, switch apps, or look for something easier, that's the moment the training actually begins. That discomfort, that twitch to escape, that's your brain detoxing from dopamine overload. Sit through it, even for just a minute, and you've already done what most people never will. And here's the surprising part. The more you practice this simple Tier 1 method, the faster your focus sharpens. Your mind begins to trust you again. It starts realizing that when you sit down to work, you mean it. You're not here to dabble, you're here to build. And once your brain gets a taste of that clarity, that calm intensity, it starts begging for more. That's when you're ready for the deeper level. Tier 2 is where the underground method stops being a habit and starts becoming an identity. This is the part almost nobody does because it requires going beyond discipline and stepping into mental reprogramming. You're not just trying to focus, you're reshaping the way your brain interprets discomfort, boredom, and resistance. And it starts with one simple but brutally effective rule: eliminate the escape routes. The tabs you keep open just in case, the apps you bounce to when a task feels heavy, the background noise that keeps you half focused, half distracted. When you remove these escape routes, your mind has no choice but to go deeper. It stops reaching for shortcuts and starts engaging with the work fully. But here's where the real transformation happens. Tier 2 demands you sit in the void. That quiet mental space where nothing is stimulating, nothing is entertaining, nothing is pulling you away. This is where deep focus is born. When you stay in it long enough, your brain transitions from resistance to flow. Your thoughts get clearer, your ideas get sharper, your work becomes richer. It feels like you're tapping into an internal power source that's been dormant for years. And this is the level high performers live in. They're not superhuman, they're trained. They've built a mind that doesn't run from focus, but leans into it. They know that the moment discomfort appears is the moment they're about to break into their next level of clarity. Tier 2 is where you stop fighting your mind and start mastering it. And once you reach this stage, you begin to understand the truth. Distraction was never stronger than you. You just hadn't learned how to dominate the silence. But now that you're stepping into this deeper layer, something else becomes clear. The real battle isn't with distractions at all. It's with the part of your mind that fears growth. And that's where we go next. Here's where everything gets real. The moment you try to change, your mind will fight you harder than any distraction ever could. Not because you're weak, because your brain is designed to protect you from anything unfamiliar, anything difficult, anything that threatens the comfort you've lived in for years. The second you sit down to focus, you'll feel it. The itch to grab your phone, the sudden thought that you forgot something, the urge to check one more thing before starting. That's not coincidence. That's your mind pulling you back into the old patterns it knows. And this is the re-hook. If you don't win this inner battle, nothing else matters. You can use the method, you can create the environment, you can prepare perfectly. But the moment your brain whispers, just 5 minutes of scrolling won't hurt, and you obey, the old identity wins. The distracted version of you wins. The version of you that gets close to greatness but never crosses the line wins. But if you stay in the discomfort, even for 60 seconds, you break the cycle. You prove to your mind that you're the one in control. You prove that the part of you that wants to grow is stronger than the part of you that wants to coast. And that's when your brain starts shifting. That's when the urge to escape gets weaker. That's when the desire to go deep becomes natural. This is the battle nobody talks about. The battle behind closed doors. The battle inside your own head. And it's the battle that decides everything. Your work, your discipline, your future. Conquer this moment and you unlock a level of focus most people never taste. Lose it and you stay exactly where you've always been. And now that you understand the war happening internally, it's time to see what happens when you finally win it. Because the transformation on the other side is bigger than you think. Imagine a life where your mind doesn't feel like a room full of open tabs, but a laser pointed at exactly what matters. A life where you don't waste your mornings trying to get in the zone. You wake up in it. Because once you truly commit to this underground method, a shift happens so quietly, so powerfully, that you almost don't realize it at first. Your thoughts stop scattering. Your mental fog lifts. The
constant background noise, those intrusive urges, those random pull-away impulses begin to fade. You're no longer negotiating with yourself. You're no longer convincing your mind to focus. You simply do. That alone changes your entire identity. And here's the deeper part. Once you've trained your brain to enter single-channeled immersion on command, your days start stretching. Time seems longer. Not because you have more hours, but because you're finally using them. Suddenly, tasks that once drained every ounce of your energy become almost effortless. You sit, you work, you finish. No drama, no delay, no internal war.
Your confidence begins to rebuild, slowly at first, quietly, almost secretly. You begin noticing that you trust your own word again. You say you'll do something, and you actually do it. That inner alignment is rare. Most people can't even rely on themselves. But you're becoming someone whose mind and actions match. Someone whose life moves forward consistently, intentionally, powerfully. Then comes the ripple effect. Your goals start accelerating. The projects you postponed for months suddenly get completed. Skills you struggled with start developing faster than you ever expected. Doors start opening, not because you're lucky, but because focus compounds in ways distraction never will. And even deeper than that, your self-image evolves. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's trying to improve. You start seeing yourself as someone built for clarity, built for discipline, built for impact. People around you may say you've changed, but in reality, you're finally becoming the version of yourself you were supposed to be all along. If you commit, truly commit, the transformation isn't small. It's identity level, life level, future level. But before you step fully into that version of yourself, there's one final moment, one last decision where everything either flips into alignment or collapses back into the old patterns you've been trying to escape. And that final decision is what comes next. This is the crossroads, the moment every person who transforms their life eventually reaches. It's the moment where you realize no one is coming to save you, no system can magically fix you, and no motivation video will matter if you don't make the decision yourself. This is where people either rise or retreat back into the comfort that's been slowly killing their potential. And you can feel it, can't you? That tension inside you, that pull between the version of you that wants to change and the version that wants to stay safe. But here's the truth most people never admit. Comfort is the cage. Distraction is the chain. And the life you want, it exists on the other side of doing the hard thing right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when things get easier. Because they won't. Life doesn't slow down. Opportunities don't wait. Focus doesn't magically appear. You decide. You choose. You draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done living below my potential. This is your pivot point, the one moment where everything can shift if you refuse to let yourself slip back into old patterns. The old you, the distracted you, the scattered you, they've had enough time. They've taken enough energy. They've held you back long enough. Now it's your turn. Your turn to become the type of person who doesn't negotiate with excuses, the type who doesn't quit when it's inconvenient, the type who rebuilds their entire mind because they know their future deserves that level of respect. There is no turning back from this point unless you choose to walk away. And if you do walk away, you'll feel it. The disappointment, the regret, the sinking feeling that you could have become more. But if you push forward, if you commit to the underground method with everything you've got, you'll feel something entirely different. Alignment, power, direction, and a momentum that will carry you into a life built on focus, not frustration. This is your moment. Choose wisely. Your future you is watching. If you're still here, then you're not just looking for motivation, you're looking for transformation. And now you have the underground method in your hands. The only question left is what you do with it. Because the people who win in life aren't the ones who know the most.
They're the ones who act the fastest. So if you're ready to sharpen your focus, reclaim your mind, and build the discipline most people only dream about, then this is your starting line. Make this the moment you stop drifting and start directing your life with intention. And if you want more videos that push you, challenge you, and build the unstoppable version of you brick by brick, then hit subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss the shift, the next breakthrough, the next step in your evolution. Your focus is your weapon, your mind is your advantage, and your future is still yours to build. Keep going, stay locked in, and I'll see you in the next video.